For the last 30 years, I've been helping people get in shape, change their bodies. And while the getting in shape process is a multidimensional issue, physical, mental, emotional, social, financial, practical, for many of the people that I've worked with over the last 3 decades, their biggest day-to-day challenge has been in managing their food intake in a healthy, intelligent, responsible manner. On a practical, emotional and psychological level, it's also been one of my biggest challenges over the years. So if you happen to live on the eating scale of somewhere between, disordered eating and eating disorder, then this brief presentation might be for you. Maybe it's time to pay attention. While I don't have an eating disorder as such these days, it's fair to say that my food intake has been disordered from time to time over my journey, especially when I was a fat 90 kilo, 14-year-old teenager who became an obsessive skinny teenager, who became an obsessive bodybuilder in his late teens and early 20s. Sure, I might seem mild-mannered, measured and disciplined from the outside, but not too far below the surface lives an eating machine that's capable of caloric suicide and dietary behaviours that belie my alleged intelligence and knowledge. Of course, I keep that guy in check most of the time, but we all understand that knowing isn't doing, theory isn't reality, so even somebody like me still has to work hard at being a conscious eater. Being an exercise scientist and gym owner doesn't mean I don't have the ability to make stupid, irrational or irresponsible decisions, especially when it comes to my own body, or to eat my own body weight in cheesecake when nobody's watching, of course. Many of us eat unconsciously. We eat on autopilot. We eat what we don't need every day, some of us, and then we wonder strangely how we got fat, how we got out of shape, how we got those love handles, and how we got unhealthy. We eat processed crap. We eat socially. We eat because it's expected. We eat because it's there. It's free. We wouldn't want to waste anything. We eat emotionally, reactively. We reward ourselves with food and our kids too sometimes. We bribe them sometimes, motivate, manipulate, control them. If you do A, B, C, then I'll take you to the Golden Arches for dinner. Awesome parenting. We fantasize about food, lie about it. We eat to ease the pain, to give ourselves instant physical pleasure, to numb out, to escape, to fit in, to forget. And then when we're finished, we hate ourselves all over again until the next episode and the cycle continues. So what is conscious eating? Thanks for asking. Conscious eating is giving our body the nutrition it needs for optimal health, function and energy, nothing more and nothing less. It's kind of simple, in theory, really. If only we lived in the theory, we'd all be amazing, wouldn't we? So what's the most conscious and responsible question you can ask in relation to your eating habits to make that kind of change? The question is, why am I eating this? If your answer is not because I need it, then you're eating unconsciously, irresponsibly, emotionally. When we eat consciously, our mind, body and emotions are all working in harmony. We're multi-dimensional creatures. For many of us, in 2013, food has become our drug of choice, our medication, our refuge. And don't think I'm being melodramatic when I use the term drug. It's indeed mood altering. It can produce high highs and low lows. It can be addictive and destructive. And over time, we'll need more of the same drug to produce the same kind of high or feeling. It affects our nervous system and our endocrine system. That's our hormones. Like other drugs, it produces biochemical changes in the brain, emotional changes, psychological changes. It can be life-enhancing and life-destroying. When it comes to food, sometimes the gap between use and abuse is a relatively small one. So let's talk for a moment about the psychology of overeating. Many of us were raised in a situation where eating food that we didn't need physically was rationalised, explained, justified and even expected. The fact that we weren't always hungry or requiring food was irrelevant sometimes. We often ate because that's what the situation, circumstance or moment dictated. And when we didn't eat the food that we didn't need, we were somehow criticised. Don't you dare leave anything on your plate. We've all had that. No wonder we have food issues. Many of us were trained to celebrate with excessive eating. It's what we did. Disordered eating. We were taught to overeat in certain situations and occasions. It was the rule. Still is. Christmas, birthdays, reunions, anniversaries, engagement. Overeat. It's what we do. New Year and Easter we do it. They're all legitimate times to abuse our bodies with food. Apparently. We're encouraged to override the full signal, to ignore what your body's telling you, unbutton your pants and just plough on. Really? It's crazy, isn't it? Such an intelligent species. Justifiable gluttony, I call it. I'm still amazed at how many people become defensive, emotional, even angry in my presentations when I suggest that nobody needs to overeat on Christmas Day, for example. Amazingly, it's actually possible to have a great day, maybe even a better day without gorging ourselves, without putting food in our body that we don't need to reach some kind of caloric nirvana. Apparently, some people can't celebrate that way. The date on the calendar determines the eating behaviour. The notion of avoiding excess calories seems almost irrational to them. This is simply another easy to understand example of the dysfunctional thinking, attitudes, beliefs and expectations that so many of us have around food. Conscious eating is about reconnecting with your body. It's about stopping the abuse, the lies, the excuses. It's about slowing down. It's about paying attention. It's about honouring and respecting the gift that is your body. I'm not really an affirmation kind of guy, but when it comes to stuff like this, I'm going to make an exception. So I've got 10 thoughts, ideas, concepts, or affirmations, if you want to call them, that I'd like to share with you. Number 1 is this: I will not eat food I don't need. Number 2, I will not reward myself with food. Number 3, I will not medicate with food. Number 4, I will not allow situations, circumstances, or other people to influence or determine the way I eat. Number 5, I will not rationalise poor eating. I will not tell myself stories. Number 6, I will not be a food martyr. I'll simply do what I need to. Number 7, I will not lie to myself or others about my eating behaviours. Number 8, I'll not eat in secret. Number 9, I'll not repeat the mistakes of my past when it comes to this stuff. And number 10, I will not allow my mind or emotions to sabotage my physical potential. Enjoy eating consciously.